Well, good morning, everybody. It's Barb Katie here again, and it's so good to be with you. Uh, for the next few weeks, as I had mentioned a couple of weeks ago, we're going to be exploring uh, keeping a good frame of mind on our journey because I think often it's, for me anyway, the key to my success lies in what my frame of mind is, what's going on in my head, what's my attitude about what I'm doing. And last week we talked about being aware of some of the emotional baggage that we carry into each day that may impact, without us even necessarily being fully cognizant of it, how we go about our day and how we respond to it. So today I thought it might be fun to uh, given that we become more aware about what we're really feeling, that we look at some ways to maybe regulate how we respond to whatever is going on around us or in our own minds. Um, it's one of the 7 areas for keeping a positive state of mind that we'll be looking at because I really think that for me, one of the keys is uh, where my head is in the game. Uh, uh, Being able to regulate what our emotions are in a constructive manner, I think is really important. And as you see, I have a set of gauges here to sort of give signals. Wouldn't it be nice if we actually had those indicators that we could look at every morning when we woke up or throughout the day as things happen and say, oh, well, the pressure's rising here. I need to release it, or I need to maybe bump it up a little bit. Just, given on what's going on in the moment and make the adjustments with a reader of some kind that would tell us exactly what's going on. Unfortunately, we don't have that ability yet. Maybe someday we will, but I sort of doubt it. So, we're left with trying to learn to manage our emotions in a constructive manner, rather than just doing a knee-jerk response or stuffing the response down. Uh, there are strategies that we can apply that help us deal with stress, anxiety, anger, sadness, even happiness, along with how we can strengthen positive responses to these emotions when they rise up within us. Modulating whatever triggers the response is the best way to make the most of this regulatory process within ourselves. Every day we face hundreds of emotional provoking stimuli, and most of them require some action or some response on our end. It's only natural for the mind to get hooked into some negative contemplation or even unmindfully ignore emotions after getting bombarded with a lot of stimuli during the course of a particularly stressful day. Regulators can help act as a modifier. It helps us filter the most important pieces of information and motivates us to attend to it in a way that won't evoke either a lot of extra stress or even fear. The way we feel and interpret these emotions actually affect how we think, how we decide, and how we coordinate our actions in day-to-day life. Are you one of those people that is an emotional eater? That is a question that a lot of us ask ourselves on any given day. Um, and many of us tend to be emotional eaters. Uh, Emotional eating isn't just going directly to food, it's food even becoming nauseous to us as a response to a particular situation that arises in our day-to-day life. Uh, Also, regulating feelings is a useful tool if you tend to become depressed and you're looking to be able to manage that depression, which can be so debilitating and so counterproductive to what we want to accomplish. Uh, for example, if I have positive emotion regulation strategies in place, I'm less likely to fall prey to the extremes that mood can swing to. My actions and behavior are less at the mercy of my emotions. I can mentally count to 10, which gives me time to determine my best response. It gives me time before I act on the flight or fight triggers that may be going through my mind. A few seconds of time can allow rational thinking and reason to kick back into place. No, eating this donut is not going to solve whatever this problem is, no matter what I think at this second in this moment in time. I came across the other day a list of things that sort of resonated with me. It was called the 6 most useful emotional regulation skills for grown-ups. And I guess I'm a grown-up. I sort of hope I am by this point in my life. But given that as the assumption I made for this, I'd like to share these 6 regulation skills with you because they really made me think a little bit. And the first one was self-awareness. And we talked about that a little bit last week when we were all together. And self-awareness, noticing and naming the feeling that you're feeling. Just ask yourself the question, am I feeling sad? Am I feeling ashamed? Am I feeling hopeless? Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling embarrassed? Am I feeling delighted? Am I feeling like the winner of the lottery? What's my feeling here? What is it? Name it. Give yourself some options and explore the feeling. Try to name the specific emotion and how it impacts you. That's self-awareness. Just blundering blindly and wondering why you're not feeling quite right isn't necessarily helpful. Take a moment and say, what's going on here inside my head? What is my brain trying to tell me that I'm not wanting to receive? Then the next thing, point number 2 that they mentioned is something that we should be doing is to try to be mindful about it. How is this emotion making me feel? Can I modify the feeling that I'm having? Can I find a way to calm the storm that may be building inside me? How can I go about doing this? You know, think about it in a mindful way. Um, I know sometimes something can happen and you just snap to a reaction. And that may not be the very best choice for many, many different reasons in any situation. So then you move to the next thing. Can I rethink how I am feeling? Can I change the way I am thinking about whatever this trigger is? Can I look for other reasons? Can I look for more solutions? Can I consider other outcomes? Um, Things happen unexpectedly that can derail the plans of the day. And we do have sometimes a very emotional response to whatever it is. Have you ever been late for something? And, that's one of the more common things that can trigger an emotional response. Do you begin to feel anxious about it, upset about it, you're letting people down? You go through your mind all these processes. Well, maybe you can rethink it. I have always been a firm believer when I'm traveling, especially by a car, that if I'm delayed, it's for a reason that I may never know about. And one of the things that clearly illustrated that to me, one day, when I had, of all things, imagine, missed getting through a traffic signal. The car in front of me was a little too slow, so I had to wait until the next light. That's not very long. It's maybe a couple minutes of my precious time. But I was frustrated. I wanted to be on my way on the highway again. I had stopped for a break, gotten a cup of coffee, and wanted to head on up the road and get home. Well, I'm traveling along, and all of a sudden, traffic began to slow down, and I came upon a horrific accident where they were, and it was a vehicle I had seen pass me earlier in the route I was traveling. But anyway, this vehicle had been in just a terrible accident. And I thought to myself, Barbara, if you were not delayed, just those few insignificant minutes, if you had not stopped for a cup of coffee and to relieve your kidneys, um, and missed the traffic light, you might have been in this particular circumstance. So, what was to me at first an irritation in my day turned into a blessing that for some reason I was delayed in my trip. And that's what I'm talking about. You can flip things around as to, reasons for things happening, or look at them just in a uh, uh, simply different way, and consider other outcomes that could have happened, the sort of if only. Uh, and that's something I think we tend not to do, is to consider that things may happen for a reason unbeknownst to us at that particular moment in time. And then another coping skill, which goes along with regulating how you're dealing with your emotions at any particular time, is how adaptive are you? Can you adapt to changes that trigger emotions? I know when I'm acting in a very emotional state, I don't always see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I may actually resist change that really might be necessary just because I'm in sort of a panic mode. I can't rationally consider options. And I find that not to be helpful at all. There's got to be a workaround. There's got to be an alternative. It may not be giving you the ideal result, but it may be helpful. And what I have found that really is helpful when you're trying to be adaptive and look for possible solutions is to consider what I might tell my best friend if they were sharing the same situation that I'm experiencing in that moment in time. Would I say, well, there's nothing you can do about it, just forget it, move on? No, you would do your very best to consider all the options possible and ways that you could cope with something to get a more positive outcome, because you love your friend and you want the best for them in all instances, and you will consider so many things. Why not do that for yourself? Try to open your mind to other possibilities to handle the situation. And the fifth one, and I bring this up all the time because I think we all need work in this area, and that is to just set aside some time, me time, every day, that you devote to yourself. The way you're feeling and the way you react to your emotions. There are several hacks and use the word hacks deliberately, that can help. And we all know them. We've all heard them many, many different times, but they need to be remembered and brought to mind in the times when we are experiencing really high emotional situations. When things get really charged emotionally, we don't always think as clearly and logically as we can. At least I don't. So one of the things is that I try to do every single day is to uh, give myself time to make some positive self affirmations about my life. Uh, this is not bragging on things that you've accomplished or anything like that. It's just trying to acknowledge that you're a good person, that you're doing the best you know how, and you want the best for you and all you love and the world around you. Just, sometimes to think positive about yourself, and then to set aside some time just for the purpose of relaxing, even controlling your breath. The song that Faith Hill sings, Just Breathe. That's so true. Just take a few moments to chill out when things are really at their most stressful. Just close your eyes, maybe think some positive thoughts in those moments, and simply breathe in and out and give yourself some time. Practice regular self care. Take good care of you. It's so important that you do take the time to care for yourself. Um, you're responsible for you for the most part all the time. So take good care of yourself, just as you take good care of your family and your friends and those who depend on you. You depend on you. And then practice jotting things down. I know a lot of people love to keep gratitude journals, and I can't honestly say that I am a regular journaler, but I do collect what a friend of mine in Arizona started me out with quite a few years ago, and that's called Warm Fuzzies. And all it is nothing more than I'll come across a little saying, a quote, a meme. Somebody will send me a particularly poignant card. Uh, and I have a file here in my office that I call my warm fuzzy file. And if I'm feeling really down or something, I'll just get that little file out and I'll look at that collection of things. And not only do I remember the positive messages that are in it that I am grateful for, but I remember how grateful I am for all the people who have contributed these things to helping me have a better sense of self and appreciating my life journey even more through their reminders. So, definitely practicing positive self-care in this way can be so helpful, and it reminds you to be compassionate about yourself, to be more forgiving and tolerant of mistakes that you make. I don't know about you, but I definitely make mistakes on a regular basis, and I need to practice that compassion that I give to others because we all mess up. Just it's part of life. We're never going to get it perfect. We're going to do the best we can in the moment, and then hopefully learn from it and move on. And then the very last step that they suggested to help us regulate our emotions as grown-ups is to seek out emotional support. And here I am so grateful that I am a member of TOPS because in addition to learning how to be more supportive of myself, through being more self-aware of what actually is happening in my life in the moment in time, I have so many wonderful others from whom I can reach out and receive support. Uh, we can receive support not only from our top friends, but other friends as well, definitely from our families, from coworkers, even people we meet on the street that give us a smile just because we happen to have arrived on the planet at the same time and place. That is one type of outside support, and sometimes we find that we need outside support from a mentor, from, someone that can provide spiritual guidance, even from a therapist or, another trained professional. These are so important, this emotional support from self, from friends and family, and from professionals can play a huge role in how we learn to strengthen a positive response to the emotional situations that arise in our daily lives. So for today, I think that I'm going to spend a little bit of time focusing on creating a positive emotional buffer that allows me to bring out the very best that is in me, that I can use not only for myself, but with everyone else I meet. And maybe if we all practice this, the world would just be a little bit better place for all of us. And wouldn't that just be exceptional? So you go out there and have your best day ever. I will talk to you later. Bye for now.